Once again, I'm here in Sanjeevji office right after COVID, and we're all looking forward to seeing all of you guys at the Wealth Summit. If you have not registered for the summit, please go to sanjeevcpa.com and get your tickets. We have roughly about 500 seats there. Those of you guys who came last time, you probably know it's a full day event, live event, lots of fun, lot of action. Sanjeevji talk about lots of strategies that you can use to reduce your taxable income. But this year we are bringing on some very, very special people. For example, today you can see we have Gopinaji here. He is a corporate attorney. He will talk a lot of things, what you can do to protect yourself. Obviously, Sanjeevji will talk about how you can reduce your taxable income. And then we'll have a lot of other professionals that I will bring to you in the next coming days. So Sanjeevji, are you excited about the Wealth Summit?
We are always excited, always. And after COVID, this is the first time we're doing this Wealth Summit.
And I think Sanjeevji been excited for actually 3 years now because that's the last Wealth Summit.
Something. I was waiting for this in-person seminar, like summit. I have done a lot of Zoom meetings, Zoom webinars. That's not good. We want to meet them personally, right? We want to interact them, ask questions, ask them what they like to hear, what questions they have, and provide an atmosphere where people get the right information. Of course, Google is there, but how can you justify in Google a lot of things which you are want to ask, right? So you need an expert person to answer all those questions, and we have. I'm fortunate to have Gopi today here. He's an attorney, well-known attorney, and definitely he's going to answer questions relating to corporate law. People do ask me this question a lot of times. Do you know anyone who can organize my business, who can start my business, incorporate my business? What are bylaws? What are operating agreements? How do I have to start? I'm a new startup. I need to set up all those RSUs and stock options and other things. What ways I can do that? Is there attorney? Is there any attorney there? So this Gopiji will be there, right? Asking all the questions.
So Gopiji, if you don't mind, maybe in your own words, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. My name is Attorney Gopinath. I practice in corporate law, business law, real estate law, trust and estates. And I'm here. Sanjeev Bhai, firstly, thank you so much for inviting me to this summit. I'm super excited. This is my first time. I've heard so many great things about this summit. And what I will be talking about is relevant to your day-to-day business. Obviously, if you're living in Silicon Valley, which is the heart of startups in the entire world. It's a startup capital of the world, so to speak. And when you're starting a company, how do you do? A bunch of engineers get together and you're starting a company. And starting a company is, the best analogy I can give you is like putting a proper foundation. If you don't have a proper foundation, you can never build a high-riser, okay? You maybe build a one-story or a two-story structure, but not something big. So for that, you early on, you need to involve a lot of people, especially attorneys, you have accountants, you've got business professionals. You need all their help, even though it could be an overkill in terms of money. But when you start a corporation and what are the things that are required, like Sanjeev Bhai was pointing out, those are all the things that are required. If you don't have that, there are obviously liabilities that they may come on you that you don't want to take. And then also operating the company once you start, that is also very important. And then finally, dissolution of the corporation, that's very important. And in real estate, it's the same thing. You want to acquire real estate. How do you do it? Somebody's taking your money. How is the money getting invested? What are your rights? And then if you're getting into any real estate agreements with people, what are you going to do with
like that?
Partnerships, exactly, limited partnerships. And obviously Sanjeev is an expert in partnership accounting, and a lot of people ask questions. Oh, I'm going to get some tax breaks, may or may not get tax breaks. And then in real estate, when you're selling, what are your rights? What are the things? So very, very interesting things. I'm going to let Sanjeev Bhai and Deepak ji talk about it further, but super excited. Please join us.
And Gopiji, I just have a quick question for you, just for the clarification purposes. So obviously not everybody is starting a company, but I think everybody in Bay Area, especially Bay Area, is interested in investing in real estate, right? People are buying their homes, people are buying investment properties, people are buying hotels, motels. I mean, as you know, a largest ownership of hotels is Indian community. So there's a huge community there. And then a lot of people buying like these vacation rental these days in partnership. And then there's this crowdfunding these days going on where multiple people, sometimes people you don't even know, they invest together, pool their money together and buying real estate. I'm assuming you take care of all of those kind of needs as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to be extremely careful, specifically with crowdfunding, because you could get entangled into securities laws unknowingly. So that's one of the important things. And if you're co-investing with other people, you need to analyze your own risk, for yourself, your risk for your capital, that is, and your families. And if you're buying properties, are you buying residential type of properties, or are you buying commercial properties?
Yeah, commercial is a big one. Right?
Commercial is a big one, yes. So in the commercial, always get your leases reviewed with a lawyer first, and then enter into the building, right? So you will know your rights. They'll have a better negotiating terms. Obviously, work with your brokers, with your financial consultants, CPAs, etc. They are all important part of this ecosystem.
And one of the things I always see is that whenever I walk into a transaction, the other party always has something drafted by their attorney, right?
Yes.
And here I'm walking, I think I can beat that guy. Isn't that the problem we all face? I think that's where Gopiji can really come in and help us out, make sure we're walking in with our tools as well. Right, Sanjeevji?
Yes, yes.
You see that all the time in partnership, don't you?
Always. When we talk about LLCs or partnerships, everybody has a standard document. They don't do any partnership agreement. Right? Even when we tell them do partnership agreement, talk to attorney, they say everything is there. We are good friends. We have been very good friends. We know for years. But I've seen people crying in my office when they say documentation is not. I don't have the right document. I should have listened to you. So that's where Gopiji will come into picture. That's where we need him definitely to do all those things. And what about one question I have for you? So a lot of people do ask this question to me. Like for example, I have to organize a LLC or S corporation, C corporation. Which state is important, right?
Ooh,
so
that's a good one.
Which state is important, and
Right.
that's where you can also help them in finding out. Like for example, Delaware versus Nevada, or you can do all those things, right?
Or even California,
In
yeah.
California.
Definitely, I think there is no one solution, one size fit all solution for this. It will depend on your particular situation. For example, Microsoft is a Washington corporation. It was a Delaware corporation before, and they moved it to the state of Washington. So it all depends on what you want to do. California, I think, if you're residing in California, if you're doing your business in California, so California is probably better when you're starting off. Obviously, if you scale up, you become like really large, around 50 million plus. Then maybe you can look at incorporating in Delaware, and you can obviously move
Going IPO.
yeah, going IPO, etc. Because Delaware obviously has their own corporate chancery. They have a dedicated corporate law unit, so they're much better, and they have been historically. And Nevada is our neighbor state. I don't practice in Nevada. But that is something you have to look at it holistically, not just one thing. It's like saying somebody has a really good eyesight. That means they must be really a genius, right? So there is no connection between those 2 points. You have to look at the body holistically to make a determination whether that is the best thing. Another thing I think is Wyoming as well.
Wyoming, and we have Florida.
So,
what about the
right.
foreign entities like India? People coming from India, they want to set up companies here, right?
Right.
You can also help them with agreement, setting the agreements and joint ventures and everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's very important, Sanjeev bhai. I think your point is well noted. You need an agreement, not because you're just friends and you started. There's obviously nothing that's going to happen amongst yourselves as good friends. But just imagine a scenario where your friends are removed, but now you have their spouses sitting across the table. I'm sure that's going to lead to a lot of fireworks, and all the friendship discussions that you that you guys have made will be will be down the tube. So very, very important.
Yeah.
And I have another quick thing, especially when it comes down to businesses. What I see is, I'm in insurance, so obviously I see a lot of people starting out some business, right? And a lot of people are doing home-based businesses these days. You know, they're cooking or they're teaching or coaching. Lots of home-based businesses. Do you guys kind of like sort of help them get started as well?
Like a franchise agreement, franchises and everything, right? Franchise,
yeah.
non-franchise agreements.
Yeah, so those are generally commercial in nature, and we do those. But if you are actually have a home-based business, you know, you reach out to us, and we can see whether we can help you or not.
So there you go, friends. What I want you guys to do before you come to Wealth Summit is start thinking about all the questions you want to ask these people. If possible, maybe leave them in the comments here, so that way I can kind of organize all the questions. Oftentimes people have same question, but multiple people have it, so I can kind of organize them. So because the time is always limited, then I can ask Gopiji right on stage and get those questions answered for you. Now, Gopiji, are you going to be there whole day long on that day?
Absolutely, even through the night.
Okay, even through the night. I'm not planning on doing that.
Available for the night. I might go out after some.
Yeah, but Sanjeevji and I will be there for 12 hours. Gopiji will provide 24-hour service.
So that's you're getting opportunity to talk to an attorney 24 hours.
So the reason why I'm saying that is because obviously Gopiji will not be on the stage whole day long, right? It will be Sanjeevji and other people who will be on the stage. But all this other time, if you want to interact with Gopiji, he'll be there. So you can come out there, shake his hand, ask your question, talk to him, find out if there is this lingering issue that might be kind of, you know, you might be wondering. You know, oftentimes what I see with these kind of issues, people keep thinking, this is not going to happen to me, this is not going to happen to me until it happens, right? So,
Absolutely.
So I would strongly recommend all of you guys to come and ask your questions to Gopiji and meet with in person. Having that said, if you have not registered, please go register on sanjeevcpa.com. The tickets are only $30. It includes the lunch. You get to meet with everybody that day. And like I said, Sanjeevji and I will be there from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Gopiji will be there 24 hours throughout the night. I'm just kidding. I doubt it. He's going to be there.
Absolutely, and please register for this event. It is a super exciting event. If anything else, you will learn a ton of information.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the Wealth Summit.
Thank you.
Thank you.